Hello and welcome to this new video. My name is Jan Wischermann and it's my mission to create beauty and to connect human hearts and brands. In this new video, it's all about dodging and burning and about my retouching help layer set, which I featured in the latest full retouch videos, and I have received so much feedback. So thank you very much for everyone to reach out to me. And I'm glad that I could help you with it. And this being said, I want to exclusively put this into a new video where I can show you what it's all about, how it works, and how you can benefit from it, having it in your own images. So let's dive in. Now that we switch to Adobe Photoshop, you can see 3 images that I have prepped. All of those have been shot by my friend Per Florian Appelgren, who's a fashion and beauty photographer from Cologne, Germany, and who is collaborating with me closely on creating these tutorials for you. And that being said, the one on the left side and the one in the middle has been shot and published for ELLE magazine, and the one on the right has been recently published in Harper's Bazaar. And as we proceed, I will show you how to set up the dodge and burn layers themselves and how you can set up the dodge and burn help layers that I've created. They will also be linked as a free download in the video description, so just check it out and download them for yourselves and let me know what you think. I'm super curious on your feedback, and as I have received so much feedback already from the previous videos, I'm pretty confident that they will help you and that you can benefit from them. So now let's just dive into the first image. Let's pick this one here, which has been recently published, as I said, in Harper's Bazaar. And I will just quickly want to go through what I did from the start. And this image was developed in Capture One, and this is the look and the grade that we came up with. And what I always do is retouch every pixel-related issues before dodging and burning. This is just a logical process that I like to follow, so that everything pixel-related is on the very bottom layers and everything light and shadow, this is going to be on top. So if I open the retouching layer folder, you can see what I did. First thing was that I did some liquefying, just to work on the perspective, work on the dimensions of the neck, of the nose, of the eye, which was slightly out of symmetry, and followed by a few retouching steps that have been cloning and healing on a separate layer. I will just quickly show you what has been done. If you hold Alt and click on the layer, you can just reveal the empty layer. So you see, it's not too much, although of course there have been some things that I did. You can see, especially in the hair, I cleaned up the crisscross hairs, the flying hairs, and all those hairs that went into different directions, like those. And I did some basic cloning on the skin to just work on the impermanent issues that have been present, but nothing too major. And the next thing that I did was fill in the gaps here of this hair strand, just to give it a more natural flow. And from here, we're ready for the dodging and burning process. I don't want to dodge and burn the whole image, just want to give you a few insights into how I think and how I work on those images. And I will quickly present to you how the final dodge and burn version looked like. As you can see here, if we toggle it on and off, you can see that certain spots have been enhanced, that light and shadow have been evened out, and of course that the hair has received a little more dimension with dodging and burning. So this is what I did, and now I can show you how to set these things up. The first thing that I do, and I've created an action for that, but it's nothing more than creating 2 curves. As you can see, one is lightening the image, one is darkening, and it's revealed with 2 layer masks. I'm preferring the dodging and burn method of 2 curves. And what I can do now is take a brush, set it to 10% opacity and 100% flow. And all I need to do now is create the help layer set. So once I did, you can see that it contains a lot of layers, but I only activated those that I really need for the dodging and burn work. So let me quickly walk you through. This is just a basic 4-point solar curve, which shows some weird colors that are not very beneficial in dodging and burning now. Of course you can, but it's quite a pain in the eyes. And so therefore I created a solid color layer with a black color and set it to color, which basically takes out the color but leaves all the contrast. And now to be flexible throughout the image and throughout the whole tonal ranges, I figured during my many images that I have been retouching over the years that a brightness and contrast layer with the sliders is a very helpful tool to visualize certain areas in the image. So let me quickly show you. When you put everything to the left side and start using the brightness slider, you can see that you can slowly reveal dark spots. And all the dark spots that you can see here now are major differences in light and shadow, which means that you can attack them with dodging and burning. And this is exactly what we are going to do. And once we move through, and you need to see, for example, this right side, you can just move the slider over to the right and you can see more of those dark spots revealed, whereas the left side is too bright, but we've been working on this already then before. So let's go back and just start dodging and burning, have some fun on the way, and I will show you how quickly and easy you can move through the image. As you can see, the goal is to have very smooth transitions between all those light and dark patches. We don't need to take them out completely. We just want to have a nice flow of light so that it gives a more even image of the skin. And since we are working with the two curves method, we can always go back if we went too far with the mask. And this is a main benefit over using the gray layer. But I think you need to take the way that you like the most and you are the most comfortable with. But of course, I'm going to show you the one that I think is the most flexible and most non-destructive way to work. As you can see, this is a process that you can put a lot of time and effort in, and I encourage you to exactly do that, to get familiar with it, to practice and to be patient, because patience is the key in this game. And if we toggle these layers on and off, you can see that we already received a very nice smooth transition. Let's just quickly move over the left side and just take out the most obvious ones. As I said, there's no need to take out every little point that you find, every little dark spot. You can always work on those later. Let's even out this part below her mouth. Just make it a little more even and a little more smooth. Like so. By switching between those two layers, you have the option to move pretty fast. And you will see once you mastered the dodge and burn layers, you will be very much faster in this process, and it becomes some kind of second nature that you move through it intuitively. Just like so. So for demonstration purposes, I think we did quite something already. So let's toggle those dodge and burn layers off and just see what we did. You can see if I move closer that we've taken out these spots, and especially below the mouth and on the left side of the mouth. And we've come quite some way already here. So this is what I would, let's, just as I said earlier, let's move over to the right side just for demonstration purposes. So I worked on so I adjusted the brightness just slightly, and suddenly the right side becomes more clear. And now we can even out these areas too. And now we can work on these spots and to make it more even. Can darken these areas a bit so that it gets slightly there. And I just want to point it out again. It's completely personal preference how far you go, and how far you maybe want to dial back. You have the option to just repaint the mask with black, or this one, and you can get from to where you started. You can always take down the opacity. This is what I like to do in the end in almost every image. Once I've complete the whole dodging and burn process of the whole image, I like to, take a step back from the image, maybe leave the desk for a while, come back there and decide whether I went too far. And once I checked it, and once I have a second thought about it, and I can commit and move on. So I think you get it, and let's quickly take a look again what we did here. You can choose if it maybe was too much. If so, you can go back to the burn layer and just take a brush with a low opacity and repaint it with black, like so, and it's not that prominent change anymore. I would from here move on to through the rest of the image, but to show you what I ended with previously, again, it was these steps. I used a couple more strokes in the dodging burn mask, like it ended up looking like this, and the burn mask was like that. And I just added 2 more to paint in some contrast in the hair. And the final image that has been printed looked like that. So there was some light adjustment in the eyes and slightly color correction in the skin. But that was basically it. If we move to the next image, this is a close-up, and this is the shot that has been developed in Capture One. And the first things, as always, were retouching. So the first thing was just a liquify layer. What I did was just slightly work on the nose and open the eyelid and the eyebrow a little more, make it a little more round, but this was basically it. And it was followed by retouching the skin with just a clone stamp and the healing brush. And you can see that I took out a few elements that didn't add to the image, like this patch here in the eyebrow was a little too much here, this darker, thicker spot, and also those. And yeah, the peach fuzz, the tiny hairs have been removed. And I painted in some eyebrows. I recolored them with a color layer, and I took out a few with this layer mask. So it was just filling up the eyebrow a little bit. And then it was followed by dodging and burning. And you can see that I used dodge and burn to even out the skin ever so slightly and enhance those soft transitions that Per likes in his images. And I also emphasized the eyebrow and the hair in the upper right corner just to frame the eye more nicely. Again, we will quickly put in the help layers. And as you can see already, it reveals pretty nicely those areas that I need to enhance. If we take a look here, you can see those patches, you can see those here and here. And you can move through the image, sliding the slider to the right, and you can find the perfect view for your needs. I'll leave it like that for starters. I will create those two layers. And I will set the brush again to 10% opacity and 100% flow, and work on the size of the brush, move in, and get to work. It's the same principle. It's the same workflow that I use. And I'm just evening out those transitions and take out these spots. Of course, you can do it in any other way. Please don't think that you have to do it this way. I just found out throughout working on thousands of images that this is a way that is really, really helpful to easily visualize and evaluate if you need to do more, if you did enough, or if you start with these help layers, you can find those spots that stand out the most, and you can go into the very smallest detail, or you can leave it just at the surface and take out those parts that are just the most obvious ones, like I'm trying to do now. Just those darker and lighter patches that stand out the most, like here, here. If you wanna see me retouching a whole image, I have created 2 full retouches on either one of those series, for ELLE and for Harper's Bazaar, and you can see the whole dodging and burn process. This video is just a quick wrap up for you to see how the layers work, how you can benefit from them, and how you can enhance those skin areas. That should be enough for this one. Let's take out the help layers and see how far we came. You can see now the soft transition. You can see that we've taken out the blotchiness here, and that it's just already way much smoother and nicer, and it has a complete natural feel to it. Let's switch to the third one. Again, retouching wise, some things have been done. You can see here, I will quickly walk you through. It all started with liquefying again. So was checking for symmetry, was shrinking the ear slightly, moving on the posture and the neck size, just to find the perfect fit for the crop. And I started retouching the outline, just taking out the hair that we don't really need, that doesn't add to the image, that looks a little lost here, as you can see. And then I had a healing and cloning session here where I also worked on the left side and on some areas of the skin, especially the tiny hair again. And if the healing and cloning introduced some more patches or blotchiness, I didn't care too much, since the touching and burn process came afterwards, and it was a breeze to take it out. What did I do here? Some hair here on the left side and on the right side, just to fill it a little more. The brows have been filled again, just painted in some hair and colored it with the color layer, as you can see here, just to make it a little more natural. And I dimmed the highlights on the chin, on the forehead. The dodging and burning part in this case ended up like so. What did I do? I worked on evening out the skin, again emphasizing and framing the skin more nicely with the darkened hair up here and the darkened eyebrows, and all those lines are more smooth and more what we wanted to achieve in this image series. Let me take those out. Let me create two dodge and burn layers, just again 2 regular curves. And let me introduce the help layers again and take those all back to the left side and start to see what awaits me in this image. I will start here on those areas. Micro dodging and burning takes a lot of time, and especially it takes a lot of patience and a feel for how far you want to go. Can only repeat myself. Take your time, enjoy the process, and it also, I think it's quite meditative process. I enjoy it very much whenever it comes to dodging and burning. I like to play some nice music. It depends, of course, on the mood, but I also like to listen to some books. And the fun part of that is, I don't know if you can relate, but the fun part is that once you are done with the image and you come back to it, you know what you listened to, what part of the book, for instance, when you take a look at it again. So it helped me to memorize books, and it was a very interesting experience that I was able to, like a mind temple in a way, walking through the image again and memorizing those parts of the story that I've recently listened to. Maybe that's a way to learn, new stuff, new things, new topics. And as I told you, dodging and burning is fun, is meditative, is helping you to grow. Not just skill-wise, also in other ways, in other parts of your life. It gives you time to reflect. So let's see what we did. See, I don't know if I've been able to see all those parts of the image without these help layers, and if I would have just used, for instance, let's say just a luminosity layer and maybe a darkening curve, that is also something that I like to use every once in a while. Therefore, these layers are there. You can see that it visualizes the spots too, but maybe not as prominent and not as precise. Let me go back to this setting, and you can see that it's, in my opinion, it's an easier way to see it. All right, let's wrap it up with the final result of this image, just so you know where it ended. And if you are interested in an image like that, there's also a full retouch of one image of this beauty series. And check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to have your feedback. I hope it helped you. And I'm going to see you in the next one. My name is Jan, signing out. Peace.